Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that tee up, and thanks for including me on this session. I'm very excited to be here, back amongst my travel colleagues, sharing some experiences that I've had since the pandemic and some things that I've been able to see through the startup community. Agility is so important during times like these, and it's really kind of that lifeline that's going to help travel professionals and startups continue to thrive through uncertain times. Um, the other thing is value generated through the community, which is something that Voyager HQ and ATPCO actually really shared and collaborated on. But ATPCO builds products that help enable others in the industry to do things more efficiently. And at Voyager, we very much positioned ourselves as not necessarily having all the answers, but being aggregators of really smart minds who are very deep in the weeds on travel innovation. We were able to find success through that. And I really, truly believe there's always going to be a place for that in the industry, whether it's in travel or in an adjacent industry, especially now. Being able to collaborate and communicate with one another is how innovation is born and how we keep moving forward. At Voyager in general, our role that we tried to play was in facilitating that exchange of ideas between smart people in the industry. When things started getting more serious back in March, we organized a couple of Slack chats for founders within the community from all time zones to kind of just jump on our Slack channels for 1 hour and talk to one another about what they were hearing and experiencing in the space. After that, we actually had a few founders from the community start a new Slack group almost right away in April to take up the mantle and keep that conversation going, which I think is very reflective of the need in the industry for that type of community and that type of communication. We've seen a handful of new startups crop up over the summer. There's been pretty consistent funding across the board, which I think also demonstrates that, things aren't really slowing down for innovation, as Beth alluded to earlier. A lot of great companies are born out of financial crises, and most of the startups that we worked with, some of them, depending on the stage, decided to kind of hibernate for a bit. Maybe if they were very early, kind of slow down operations, close up, and try to ride out the storm. Others have done some really amazing pivots, kind of like looked at different markets, different business models that they can expand into to try to make the best of the situation. What Sonia and the Pelota team have done is a really good story around that. And there have been a lot of really good case studies. So for me, I mean, on a personal note and from a business standpoint, I think the most important thing to remember is that similar to what Rebecca was touching on, the things that you learned in one phase can be leveraged to support the next chapter, so long as you're mindful and creative about finding ways to apply that knowledge.